First of all, there's this thing and concept I really like that emerged fairly recently called the disposable software. So previously, I remember also writing my first lines and holding them very sacred. Like they were brain children of mine. But now it was a hard goodbye, but right now I really feel that there's amount of tasks and amount of ideas that can be brought up to life and tested with fairly low cost.
One less obvious way AI is impacting software development is how it's changing our relationship to risk and to failure. When writing code used to take real time and money, you treated every line like it mattered, because it did. Whether you were building a new feature or a new business, you only had one shot, so you had to get it right. Teams became conservative, really risk averse. But now, when you can launch 80% of a product in about 20% of the time, when you can validate a big idea in a few days, well, we're going to see a lot more tests run. Disposable software isn't about writing throwaway code. It's about reducing the cost of being wrong. And when being wrong doesn't matter so much, you can finally afford to question your assumptions instead of defending them.
That's not exactly the way this team operates, but the idea would be more to kind of sit down and ideate within the team, within the operations team, on what would be their AI strategy. It's not just to create an AI feature to get some quick fix for the AI hunger. It's more of changing the perspective on how can you actually develop your software in a way that then you can utilize your data in full extent of it. Because whenever there are users who are interacting with your software, whenever they enrich the data sets with their input, they create vast amount of information that they're most likely not utilizing in the full possible potential. So that's how it really went, that we had a very fruitful workshop starting from scratch, assuming of everything coming to unlimited resources, unlimited data, what would be the perfect world, you know.
One real world impact we'll see more of is how discovery sessions start not from resources, but from results. As Michael said, his starting position in a workshop is unlimited resources and zero constraints, because so much more is possible. Paint the perfect world first and then figure out what's feasible. Why does this work? Because the gap between perfect and prototype has totally changed. You can now build that ambitious vision. You can test it with real users, and then you can actually see if the data supports it.
What kind of ideas are coming from the customer side as well, because we had representatives from different angles of the business. There were people who are working with the customers directly, so they know exact pain points, people who are more knowing about the competition, and we also had this role of validating what's possible, what's doable, what seems to be kind of a long shot, what's more feasible to do in the shorter span of time. And that's a great opportunity to actually test and develop some ideas that might seem very big and having a lot of potential, but then validating them in real life, you just see that, okay, so that was half-baked. It's fine, it's okay. And now the alternative cost is much lower, right? Because you don't have to put this entire effort.
When validation was expensive, teams were incentivized to prove that their ideas worked. You'd invested weeks. Your brain needed that investment to mean something. So you'd find a way to justify the approach even when the proof wasn't quite there. That's sunk cost bias. But when you can build and test and validate in hours or days, you can finally be pretty neutral, actually trying to disprove your assumptions instead of defending them.
So definitely that's a lesson that we derive from data science, that whenever you come to a conclusion, you first frame it as a hypothesis and you treat it as a hypothesis, and you're doing it in a scientific way, that you're trying to be rigorous and create failure conditions for it, and then rigorously test against it to see if it holds up. So right now you can do the same thing with software. There are caveats though, because again, the fact that you will use something you just built with AI, it's not exactly proving or disproving that something is good or not. It's just an additional opportunity to create some stuff that previously was always too much effort.